was talked about at the last deal, but apparently it's a big item for some folks. What is your position on opening June Road, and what is the basis for your decision? Polly?
Okay. Ordinarily, I would say if it's a road in the town, it needs to be paved or fixed, you know. But I've been on the road committee for about 5 years, and I walked that road with our town engineer, and his suggestion was that it would cost the town a lot of money to open that road back up because it's got a lot of bad drainage problems. 4th Street is a drainage ditch. I mean, it's not even a street. June crosses 4th Street. There'd have to be a big culvert installed there, some way to get the water on down towards the lake. There are houses below that could possibly flood on Coast Street. Other problems, one lady's house is within 3 feet of the roadbed. Now that's, this big. There's a large tree, an oak tree that I can't even put my arms around on the edge of that road if we fix that road to where it had traffic. As long as I'm on this council, I would never vote to open that road.
Thank you very much. John?
I have not studied the issue. I'm aware of the issue. I haven't said I'll need more information or make a decision.
Okay, very fair. Charlotte?
I agree with Mr. Reed. I know where the location is, but I would also be interested in the background information and as to why and the occurrences that happened before I got here to be able with some information before making a decision.
Okay.
I don't believe in closing any public road in the town of Shady Shores. The road is a public road. It was put here for a particular reason on a plat, and homes were then built alongside of that road. Regarding June Road, there's no way as a mayor that I could reopen that road. However, if citizens in that area brought to me documentation and logistics that needed that road open, it would be presented by this mayor, if I am the seated mayor, to the council, and at that point in time, it would be the council's decision to deliberate and decide whether to reopen or keep June Road closed. Okay.
Dan?
I think it's a non-issue. The road's been closed as long as I've lived here, I believe. I don't remember ever seeing it open. I think there was one guy that brought up the issue several years ago, wanted the road reopened. There's no reason for it at all. And if you look at the actual drawings down there in the old Shady Shores, it's quite a mess. That's not the only road that's not being used down there. That's the only one that's officially closed by the city, but there's all kinds of roads that are nothing but grass strips. And they've never been used probably in 40 years. They were access to lots that people own that are 25 by 50 foot in size. all over old Shady Shores. So I think the whole thing needs to be looked at, and a lot of replanting needs to be done down there.
Hey.
Well, I was on the council at the same time as Polly and went through the hours and hours and hours of research and statistics and data, and unless someone, engineering, attorney, would have a viable reason, I see no reason why we would ever reverse that decision.
Okay. Next question. What is your position on trails around the lake similar to the Colony Trail and Park System? Dan, would you like to start that one?
Whatever it is,
Trail.
Okay. Well, I used to walk them with my daughters years ago when we first moved out here, and I like the trails around the lake. You're talking about the existing trails, I presume?
I'm the messenger. What is your position on trails around the lake similar to the Colony Trail and Park System?
Oh, we were talking about adding something new?
Mm-hmm.
I suppose if somebody the Corps wants to pay for it, that'd be fine, but I don't think the city I don't think enough people use the trails that are out there now to justify building something new.
Jerry?
Well, again, you strike up an issue with the Corps of Engineers, and you're also talking about land that is federal not our land, we don't own it or anything, so it's very difficult to say, oh, I'd love to have a trail there and so forth, but I think you're going to, once again, have to come into a compromise with the Corps of Engineers like we have on many other areas out there. I would love to see trails. I'm not acquainted with the Colony's system of trails over there. I imagine they're beautiful. I know when I first came here in '97, there was a wonderful trail that snaked its way kind of right along the shoreline there at the old Gordon McGlendon Ranch area and everything. That is Cielo Ranch now, and at that time it was well maintained, and I enjoyed walking that, and I believe other citizens would, but once again, you still are going to have the issue of the Corps of Engineers.
Charlotte?
I think a nature trail would be nice, but again, it's the core property and we would have to come into a compromise. I think it would be nice, I think it would be a place where families could come and enjoy the park here that they're already letting us do modifications to, but unless the Corps was willing to compromise or pay for it, I just don't know if it's gonna happen.
John?
I have no great aversion to the trails. I think the trails would be fine. Of course, the Corps would need to pay for it in its entirety. It's their land. And if they want to put that in, I would like to see some kind of study though that shows what kind of usage we're going to have on this. I don't know that I've seen any great amounts of people asking that we have trails back there, but if there are, I'm open to that. The one thing I would like to see is if the Corps is going to proceed along those lines, is they do need to do something about the amount of brush that they have back there that is tinder waiting to happen. That's something that I think needs to go hand in hand with whatever the Corps wants to partner in with us or put trails in or whatever their plans might be.
Okay. Molly?
Well, there are natural trails back there, around Cielo, up Boat Ramp, the other side of Boat Ramp. And the Corps specifies that past 50 feet is habitat land. And so that means, you don't go in there and cut stuff, and the Corps doesn't have money, they tell us, or personnel, to go in there and clean anything out. And we've been given permission in one place to clean it up, and so, maybe we can proceed along some of those lines, but it'll still have to be the Corps' say as to what we really do. And I don't ever see Shady Shores putting money into trails. I don't think we would or even could. But the natural trails are good, and if people really want it, well, I don't see anything wrong with it.
Thank you very much.
Do I get to answer this question? Just
Not
checking.
you, just-
No problem.
No, we don't.
I think that we ought to let the Corps do their job and Shady Shores do our job. I believe that there's enough areas that we are, as Shady Shores residents, volunteering to help the Corps to get cleaned up, to make it a nicer environment for our town. Certainly areas that we can walk anyway, but I think, Norma, we have one boat gone and one Saturday. But I think that, we need to be good neighbors with the Corps, but let them do their job and us do ours. Oh, I get to go first now.
Yeah, you
You're feeling
do.
bad, aren't you?
I won't make the moderator. Since
The toughest question.
1996, the town has held 3 long-range planning sessions. Are you in favor of holding a long-range planning session for Shady Shores after the election?
Absolutely. I believe that communication with our residents is vital. And long range to me, as we discussed last time, is 5 years, 10 years, maybe even 15 years. But absolutely.
Dan?
I think that's just good business to have a 10-year plan, but,
Jerry?
As a mayor and as councilman, you have to have a vision for the town. You can't be seated up here and asked to be elected into this office unless you have goals and a vision for the town, basically. But in order for those 5 or 10 year plans to be viable, we need your input. So we would definitely need to have work sessions that bring you into this to basically form ideologies and structures and pathways for those visions of 5 and 10 years, because it's going to impact you. we will, yes, have the ability to pass the resolution, basically establishing those visions, but it has to involve y'all.
John?
Absolutely, I think it's essential, essential to have a long-term plan, and it is updated at the very least annually. Good planning is something that you have to have going forward, and as I said, it's essential to the town, it's essential to the tax base as to how you're going to spend the money, and if you need to spend the money, it's essential to get that out to the people in town and say, this is what we see as the vision. How do you folks feel about it? Is this what you want to pursue? Is this where we want to go? And those things should be married up. And so, yes, absolutely, long-term plan, that's my forte. That's what I've done most of my career. And I believe that's first and foremost, that's the first thing I could do.
Charlotte?
I agree. As working with the hazard mitigation plans when I work with the city of Irving, it's very important to see your future, where you're headed, and a plan is only as good as it's usable. We can spend all this time getting input from one party, but then put it on the shelf and no one takes it down to look at it. It's important to have open houses, public work sessions, ask the citizens, what do they see? Where do you see your town? Where do you see our town going? To make sure we're all following the same direction, so that the plan is usable and not just going on the shelf, just to say we made a plan. Let's have a usable plan.
Holly?
Well, we had a planning session, after we instigated taxes. And there was about 40 people at the planning session. And the number one thing that those people wanted was fix the road. And I think the second was either police protection or fire protection, or vice versa. And we've attempted to do that, and I think we've probably done a pretty good job of it. We've made inroads into fixing the roads. It's an ongoing problem, and something we always have to get on top of. We're ready for another planning session. It is time to do another one, and so I encourage as many people as can come to these sessions and let us know what you want done. And that's how things get done in the town, is when you speak to the council, and that's what happens in the planning session.
Okay. Jerry, I'll start with you. What do you think the #1 spending priority for Shady Shores is?
Well, outside obviously of the large contracts we have for police and fire safety, it has to be roads. If you look at our budget, which is always available to you, we always make sure that there is a strong budgetary amount in that particular line item. You know, what we've done with these roads in the last 6 and 7 years, to me, is just marvelous. The council and the mayor has put before the people and so forth roads, I think, that are just outstanding. I just believe that I can't say enough, is going to be an issue that all future councils and future mayors are going to have to face, and they need to budget that money.
Dan?
Well, I agree with Jerry there. The roads outside of the police and fire, roads are the #1, and the roads have never been in better shape here in Shady Shores since I've been up here. We've had to rebuild a bridge. We've had to rebuild Shady Shores Road, which was an expensive project, like Shore Road, Garza, 6th Street. They're all in good shape, and we need to just plan ahead and make sure we do have the funds when the roads need repaired or replaced.
Betty?
For me, it's the same, police and fire first, with roads and fire hydrants right behind it.
John?
Roads would be the first priority, I believe. I think part of the thing would be ensuring that we don't have an incident like we had in 2007, the Shady Shores Road being underwater. Is there anything we can do to defray that? Is there anything we can do to do the roads that'll keep us from that, so we have another flood event? And that would be my last priority.
Holly?